So the idea today is to taste various Beaujolais from Beaujolais Village and a few crus du Beaujolais. Why is that? Because we decided at Latour to invest in the Beaujolais region about 4 years ago and buy a company called Fessy. The Beaujolais is a region where Latour has been involved for many years. It's about an hour drive south of Beaune, and it's a region that we've known very well and that has had some very close relationship with Burgundy for many reasons. Proximity is one, but also the fact that in the past Beaujolais used to be a good place to source wine that were actually blended with some of the Pinot Noir in Burgundy to produce some straight Bourgogne. Some of the straight Bourgogne could actually come from the Cru du Beaujolais. So it's a region we've known for many years, even if it's, to my opinion, not to be included in Burgundy itself, because it has a different grape, obviously, which is Gamay, which is very different from Pinot Noir, and a very different soil, which is a granitic soil, which again is very different from Burgundy, where you find mostly clay and limestone soil. So it has a history which is very close to Burgundy. At the same time, it's a different product. Having said that, in certain soil in the Beaujolais, some Beaujolais, and I'm thinking about Morgon obviously and Moulin Vent as well, when they age, they tend to resemble to some of the wines from Burgundy. So why did Latour decide to invest in the Beaujolais 4 years ago? There are several reasons, and I would say that the first one is that we knew the region extremely well from history. Two, it may be a good timing because the reality is that Beaujolais has been suffering for several years in terms of sales and overall production. So the cost of the land is actually very good value at the moment, which is not the case in Burgundy where the prices of the land are just going up the roof. So it's a good opportunity and a good timing to actually invest in the Beaujolais. Three, we believe in the quality of the Cru du Beaujolais. Beaujolais is divided in 3 parts. One is, and it's about equal size in terms of production. One is Beaujolais, one is Beaujolais Village, the second one is Beaujolais Village, the third one are Cru du Beaujolais. The Cru are where obviously Gamay produces the very best wines. There are 10 of them, and this is what has put Beaujolais and Gamay on the map. Unfortunately, for many years, the Beaujolais Nouveau has damaged the image of Beaujolais and therefore has damaged the image of the Crus as well. There's a lot of work to put Beaujolais back on the map, and that comes, that goes through putting back the Crus on the map themselves. You know, it's a lot of work, and again, you know, I always say the same thing. You know, when Mercedes promote their cars, they promote their E-Class or their S-Class. They're not promoting their A-Class. You know, they expect people to drink their, or to buy their entry level, you know, because they aspire to actually buy the more premium. I think if we want to put Beaujolais and Beaujolais Village back on the map, we need to promote the Crus and convince the people that there are good wines being produced in the Beaujolais. But there's a lot of work to be done. I think the biggest mistake when it comes to Beaujolais Nouveau is that there's never been any limitation in terms of the total production that could be sold as Beaujolais Nouveau. So you could actually put your entire production in the market as Beaujolais Nouveau or as Beaujolais Village Nouveau. And there's never been any limitation in terms of the period of time when the Beaujolais Nouveau could be sold on the market. So there was a clear date before which the Beaujolais Nouveau could not be released, but there was never any date about when it should be removed from the market. This has led to, because it became a success commercially, it became a success financially as well. for the growers, because they were harvesting in September, selling in November, being paid in December. It was good business. But that went too quickly and too far, and the consumers were under the impression that Beaujolais was purely Beaujolais Nouveau, and Beaujolais Nouveau is clearly not the best product that you can get from the Beaujolais. I mean, I personally like the idea of Beaujolais Nouveau as, you know, something festive and new, but again, it has to be limited in terms of production. You know, nothing against it, but let's be clear about what it should be and when it can be sold. So I said that's the third reason for, you know, investing in the Beaujolais is we believe in the crus. There's another reason why we wanted to be more involved in the Beaujolais. Since Beaujolais is suffering, we thought, and also since the Pinot Noir in Burgundy is becoming more and more expensive every year, we thought about planting Pinot Noir in the Beaujolais. Why is that? Because if you look at the Beaujolais region, the north is where the crus are located, and the subsoil is granitic. It's very granite. It's very. Most of the Beaujolais villages themselves are also planted on granitic soil. But if you go to South Beaujolais, the Beaujolais category itself is mostly planted on a limestone soil, which is slightly different from Burgundy. The color of the soil, the components is different, but it's still a limestone, and it's not a granitic soil. So we believe that in the south of Beaujolais, there are opportunities to actually start planting some Pinot Noir. And we have started this year planting 5 hectares of Pinot Noir. So we have started planting wine from that region, which is a beautiful region in South Beaujolais, very close to Lyon. And it's called, the region is called les Terres Dorées, the golden land, yes. And I don't know yet under which appellation we'll be producing the wine, most probably in Coteau Bourguignon, because we can do it, and there will be a Pinot Noir from les Terres Dorées. So it's a new venture. It's a small scale at the moment. We've just started. I guess we'll be starting producing some wine in 2-3 years of time, and see how the quality, how it works in terms of quality, and how we can market the product. But we saw that as an opportunity as well to actually invest in the Beaujolais and have some wine facilities there to be able to control this production as well. So there are different aspects of this investment. Having said that, Beaujolais is having its real problems at the moment. It used to produce, you know, as much, not more than Burgundy in terms of overall production. Today the production is about half of what it was 15 years ago, 10-15 years ago. So we are, you know, we are obviously facing some difficult times when it comes to putting Beaujolais back on the map. Having said that, we believe, and that's the point that I didn't mention early on, but it's also one of the reasons why we invested in the Beaujolais. The price of the Beaujolais, and especially of the cru, is very low. Not only in the land, but also when we market the wine, it's a very good value as a wine. So since the price of Pinot Noir, the price of Burgundy keeps going up and up, we saw Beaujolais as a very good entry-level wine. From a pricing point of view, we also believe that Beaujolais stylistically is more fruit-driven, forward than most other wines, and therefore it should please most of the young generation, newcomers to wine, because it's an easy wine to understand. It's also very easy to adapt Beaujolais to a different type of food. You know, that's from red meat to white meat to even some fish. We don't consider it, or I don't consider it as a very serious wine. You know, it's more an everyday wine, and it has a real following on the Paris restaurants, and especially in the brasseries. When you go to Paris, in most of the brasseries, the main wine will be Beaujolais. If you ask for a glass of wine, they'll pour bouillie. You know, and this is something that has remained extremely strong in France. and it's something that obviously we need to develop in the export markets as well. So there are many reasons why we have decided to make a move. It's not an easy move from a commercial point of view, but I believe that in a few years we realize that it was a good move. So when it comes to Fessy, it's a company that was created in 1888. So it's one of the companies that was one of the most famous on the domestic market, very strong in Paris in most of the brasseries and bistros. So it was a good opportunity to take over a brand that was already known and available on the domestic market. They had 15 hectares of land, and we have purchased more land. We're now coming to about 70 hectares of land in total, and our ambition is to own land in every cru du Beaujolais. So we're now in 9 out of 10, we're just missing Chirouble, but the idea is to be able to be seen, or to become and to be seen as a specialist from the region. Because Beaujolais is very, very fragmented as a region. It's as fragmented as Burgundy. An average estate is about 6 hectares. So most of these small growers, some of them produce extremely good wines, but they don't have the critical mass to actually export and sell, and exist as a brand. So with Fessy, with a bit more land, a bit more, with the distribution that we have with Latour, it should be easier for us to actually build the distribution and build the following for these wines. But we're hoping so.